Tensions between Iran and Israel have escalated far beyond a regional dispute. Nations around the world are now watching closely, and the U.S. is weighing its next moves. In Washington, President Trump is under pressure to decide whether to support Israel. Internally, two camps are clashing. Hawks like Gen. Michael Kurilla, head of U.S. Central Command, advocate for aggressive strikes against Iran's nuclear sites, including Fordo, using bunker-busting weapons. Meanwhile, MAGA isolationists and non-interventionists urge restraint. Trump has authorized contingency plans, but hasn't issued a final order. Military assets are already moving. The USS Gerald R. Ford supercarrier is preparing deployment. To the region, U.S. destroyers and refueling planes have been repositioned, and additional aircraft carriers may follow. Experts believe that U.S. involvement would likely focus on neutralizing hardened sites like Iran's underground Fordo facility. Only USB-2 bombers armed with massive ordnance penetrators can reach deeply buried targets. Some suggest launching them from bases such as Diego Garcia. Options on the table include airstrikes using bunker busters against nuclear sites, precision cruise missile strikes, naval missile barrages from warships. Administrations are preparing for a possible strike within days, though any move risks serious escalation. On the diplomatic front, the U.S. is quietly exploring a negotiated resolution. Envoy Steve Witkoff reportedly engaged with Iranian representatives mid-June to revive talks that might de-escalate the crisis. The Atlantic Council highlights that Iran could still accept a diplomatic off-ramp, potentially ending the crisis if offered a credible nuclear deal. Elsewhere, global leaders are intervening. The UN, EU, China, Russia, Germany, France, and others are calling emphatically for restraint and de-escalation. Some nations, like Egypt and India, express concern over strikes and monitor regional spillovers. India, Canada, Australia, and Lithuania are evacuating citizens from conflict zones. Iran faces agonizing choices. Its missile and drone capacity has dwindled under sustained Israeli strikes. They've reportedly lost 35 to 40% of their launchers and half their stockpile. Tehran may yet retaliate through cyber attacks, Gulf proxy groups, or closing the Strait of Hormuz, but risk drawing the U.S. fully into war. Regional experts warn that without U.S. restraint and strong diplomacy, the crisis could erupt into broader conflict. Carnegie and Chatham House analysts emphasize that the absence of a collective security framework allows localized escalation to spiral uncontrollably. We now face a pivotal moment. If Trump orders strikes on Iran, especially targeting Fordo, what begins as dismantling weapons could swiftly morph into a wider war. But if the U.S. leverages diplomacy instead, perhaps we still have a chance to pull back from the brink. Which path will they choose? It may determine whether this remains a regional skirmish or becomes a global crisis. Tension